sound surprising, but at its core, the Bible is one story. One that we all, consciously or not, try to emulate when we tell our own stories. While the Bible is made up of dozens of different books and hundreds of individual stories, they are all part of one fabric that tells the compelling story of God chasing after his children. And that story is so hardwired into us that any other story we hear is subconsciously measured against that standard. If you have a favorite movie or book from Star Wars to Harry Potter, I guarantee you the plot follows the Bible beat for beat. And if it didn't, you wouldn't love it. What then is the theology of story? Every good yarn starts with balance, or what is normal. In the Bible, that's the Garden of Eden with its two main residents, Adam and Eve. Then Satan twirls his mustache, tempts our couple with the fruit of forbidden knowledge, and we have arrived at the inciting incident. After Adam and Eve are kicked out of the garden, we move on to the quest, or the big event, where the hero of the story does everything he can to restore the original balance. The hero here is God, and he spends pretty much the entire Old Testament pursuing his children and trying to restore his relationship with them. Which leads us to the midpoint pinch. This is where the hero knows he's got to double down and take care of the problem himself. Big surprise, this is the birth of Jesus, or what we used to call Christmas before we changed it to Happy Holidays. But after the midpoint pinch, there's always a temptation. This is where Satan enters again and tries to tempt our hero in the desert to give up. Here, Jesus does what Adam and Eve couldn't do. He rebuffs the tempter, and we are set up for a final showdown. After his 3-year ministry, we arrive at the crisis. In film school, they ask us to identify the crisis of the Bible. We all sat in silence until one timid hand went up and correctly answered, "The crucifixion?" The crisis can never go well for the hero. He or she must die. It can be metaphorical, but in this case, it's quite literal. Then the hero's friends go through some pain while we all wait for the final climax. In The Princess Bride, Wesley says true love never dies. It can only be delayed. I don't know if screenwriter William Goldman knew he was describing the resurrection perfectly, but he may have had an inkling. Against all odds, the hero defeats death. He wins, jubilation, parades, talk show circuit. Then we wrap everything up in a big bow with the denouement. This basic happy ending restores the balance with what the Bible calls New Jerusalem, or heaven. In a nutshell, that's the theology of story. So the next time you watch a great movie or read a good book, just know that you are really enjoying an echo of God's original story. Pretty cool, huh? Next week, we look at the predictions of the Bible.